Check. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to a Sunday Live once again. It looks like our buddy Pierre is running a bit behind here. Give me just a second here. I need to check some audio settings here. And here he is, man. Here he is. Fashionably late.
It says 6:12.
How you doing, man?
So I'm kind of 3 minutes early, mate.
Oh man. I've got the Stormers kit on today for obvious reasons. You getting good audio over there? Can you hear my microphone just fine?
Yeah, I'm just trying to quickly fix here because you're not on my earphones. You're actually just on my laptop. Hold on a second. Okay. Cool. There you go.
All right. So once again, it is Sunday. We have another weekend of URC action. I had asked you, hey, we'll talk about that a bit. There's some other things, obviously, we need to get to. But on the weekend, obviously, South African teams going 3-1. The Stormers putting on an absolute clinic in Cape Town against Munster.
Yeah.
16 Springboks getting the win in Durban. Come on, man.
Look, man, that game was a lot closer than what it was supposed to be. They went to go fucking sleep at the end of that game.
Look, people don't get it. The Sharks should be like Leinster.
Yeah, 100%.
They should be the top of the table. No question, with all that talent. But obviously they get the win. The Lions, in a nasty affair in Zebra Parma, come away with a single-point victory. Good on them. They continue their good streak. Next week, I believe they're at Leinster next week.
Could be.
Yeah. And then the big one, the Bulls coming away, losing to a team that has won 14 games in their last 40 played.
Yeah.
Scarlets. They're trash. So I went back. I only watched the second half. I saw the red card. It was kind of like, damn, discipline. But going back, and it was honestly the Southern Hemisphere fans that were like, go and look at how bad the officiating. There were two obvious red cards on the Scarlets that were completely missed in the first half.
No, I know, because there was a hit contact one.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
which was supposed
obvious.
to be at least at minimum a yellow. Okay. And he says, okay, no, penalty only. Okay. All right. Was it the other way around? Red card. Yeah,
exactly.
So anyways, you can't really blame the officiating for that fucking performance.
But poor discipline in the second half, obviously. So a little bit of disappointment, obviously, is the Bulls, and it continues with they've been dubbed a nickname by the Northern Hemisphere teams, which is Altitude RFC, because they only seem to be able to win and win at home. And because it's Loftus, it's high altitude, it is an advantage, even though obviously in the playoffs last year, we had a Scottish team completely disprove that. So, so not a bad weekend. Some great, Gaza, Damian Valemza putting in a clinic over in Cape Town, absolutely showing that, yep, I've still got it, guys. And that's back-to-back weekends where potential fullbacks for the Springboks have just put in lights out. Villy LaRue the previous week. This week, Damian Valemza. Afalola Fassi didn't have too bad of a game himself down, with the Sharks. I
think he actually had a fucking mean game, man. I think Afalola Fassi was one of the standout players for the day. So, that was my opinion. Like, when I was watching him play, it was phenomenal under the high ball. It was just, I think there was a lot of things that happened in that game, especially in that latter part of the game, where it's two soft tries, mate. Very soft fucking tries. Like, boom, boom, letting the guys in, like last 3 minutes, 5 minutes of the game. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's I think we have a bigger debate with who's going to play fullback for the Springboks because we've got three guys that are very, very peak. Obviously, Damian Valemza did not play fullback. He started at 10, but it's going to be a big debate going forward because we've got three guys that are very capable of fulfilling that role at 15. Obviously, with the likes of somebody like Villy LaRue not making it to the next World Cup, but we do want to get him to be a Centurion to get that 100 caps because he does deserve it with 2 World Cups. So with that being said, we're going to go back to the Bulls, something I really wanted to discuss here about the Bulls, which is life after Jake White.
You know what the answer is, mate. Johan Ackerman.
So it's either that or their former coach is back in country now.
No thanks.
You're like, no Heineke Meyer. No Heineke Meyer. You have no...
Johan Ackerman, dude.
And that
guy took the Lions from fucking nowhere.
Honestly, three back-to-back championships. They didn't win 100%. Any of them, but 3 of them. Yeah.
And also, I mean, I was like rooting for him to come back if Rassie wasn't going to take over the
Springboks
coaching spot.
Yeah.
I don't know why that word was eluding me there for a second, but yeah, if he wasn't going to take back over the coaching role, I was going to be like, well, Johan Ackerman, come on.
So,
come guys.
With a lot of people don't know, there is a gentleman in the Bulls coaching staff that does have American ties, oddly enough. And that would be Gary Gold. He is a forwards coach there. He was the head coach of the USA Eagles when they beat their first tier 1 team in over 90 years. I think he's a hell of a coach. I don't know if he would be an option for the Bulls moving forward, but it's also just the fact that, like, I had to look up how old Jake White is. Jake White is well into his 60s. Like, he's not. It's been a long time since 2007 when he won a World Cup coaching the Springboks, but it's.
For sure.
You have to kind of think about
a lot of health issues as well.
What's that?
He's got some health issues as well. So
yeah, and I mean, like I said, I'm not saying, hey, can him this year, but like you probably need to start thinking about the next option afterwards because it's going to happen sooner rather than later, unfortunately. And I'm still. It's like Plumtree gets everybody talking about firing him, and then he wins again.
Dude, it wasn't Plumtree that won that game. It was the fact that he had like 12 or 13 starting Springboks in his fucking team.
It was 16. Yeah, it was 16 Springboks.
16 in total, but I'm talking about the 15 that ran onto the field.
Yeah.
It was like 12 or 13 of them, but there was a total of 16. Yeah, for sure. So the fact is that you know, there's a lot of those guys that's like in key positions too. Like who did we have? The whole fucking front row was Springboks, okay?
Yeah.
Then was Eben, and then the other lock wasn't the Springbok, right?
Yeah.
Then we had Sia. We had who else was in that fucking? Like I think Buthelezi wasn't a Springbok.
Yeah.
Who was on the other side? Who was?
Was it that Shatuka? It's the two brothers. Yeah, it's the two brothers.
Yeah, Shatuka, yeah. So those two weren't. Okay, then you get your back line, which is number 9 is fucking what?
Jordan Hendrickson.
Jordan Hendrickson that already played for the Springboks. Okay. You see where I'm going with this?
Marcus Oliman, PP Springbok. Esther Hansen Springbok. Springbok. Yeah.
So Farsi is a Springbok. How could you not? Okay, so they had 12. They had 12 on the starting 15 because that what was his surname? I don't even know, but he's like number 14 for the Sharks.
Yeah. He was a nobody. So it was kind of like, who was this guy? So something else I wanted to bring up in that game, that Sharks game, I forgot to bring it up.
Sure.
What a combination of the Hendrickson brothers at 9 and 10. Holy
they played well.
Shit. Like, it looked like two kids playing in their backyard, basically. Like, I guess because they're brothers, obviously they grew up playing together. They know each other's moves and whatever. But it was like, man, I saw so many times where Hendricks is the back of Rux and he's looking around like he's gonna actually like maybe box kick and I mean he made it, he would sell it so well.
Yeah.
And then he would just turn around and he just like behind the back to his brother. And it was just kind of like, I want to see that in a test. I want to see that against like a Spain or like a Samoa. You know, when we get to play one of those tier 2 teams, I want to see the Hendrickson brothers at 9 and 10, just because it was entertaining as hell. Like it looked like, you know, I mean, especially like I said, the behind the back. And Hendrickson would sell it so well. Like he'd even have like Cock line up in front of him like he's gonna box kick and then turn around and just like pass it to his brother. That was just like
yeah, for sure. No, they were playing. I actually watched the whole Sharks game, and that's why I was so annoyed with those 2 late tries. Okay, because that really doesn't tell how the game went. Although they did start off a little bit iffy, but they started to get their stride a little bit later on. So I was a bit disappointed with those last 2 tries. Like really defense letting them down there poorly. But yeah, look, I mean, there's a couple of guys that really putting their hands up, right, for Springbok contention. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who Rassie takes.
Yeah, that will segue into the next part of this that I wanted to discuss are watching the Bulls versus Scarlets game. I was alerted to something that I had no idea, is that Cameron Hanekom has eligibility for Wales. Yeah. His grandmother is Welsh. And they kept bringing that up. And when we talk about guys that I think we really, really need to give a shot to in the end of the year here, coming up in the next couple of weeks, we're going to find out here in the next couple of weeks. The top of my list is Cameron Hanekom, period.
I've got him on my list as well. Obviously, he plays for my team, and he makes quite a big impact on that in that jersey, that number 8 jersey. He plays a fucking mean game. So
he's so good, and like I've heard other commentators kind of mention that like that's the end of SCOM. We don't need Marco van Staden anymore. We'll get Cameron Hanekom, which, you know what, Marco, you won a World Cup. You're fine, bro. Like, be okay with that. But it's Cameron Hanekom. That's obviously on both of our lists. Who is the top on your list? Mine was Cameron.
Well, actually, what I did was I searched teams.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I went through the players to see, because I didn't want to miss anybody out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't always like remember everybody. So I didn't have a tier system. It was just based on the team that I.
Damn, you did the full thing. You did man. I just had 4 guys and that was it. You actually went through and broke it down. Damn, son.
No, it's not really broken down. It's just like it's per team, I guess, that I went through. So, but I mean, one of the guys that really stands out now, I gotta be honest at the same time, right? None of these guys would necessarily play a tier 1 game for me. Okay.
Yeah, definitely
above the other guys if they're fit.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just these guys, I think, would at some point in time, I think just based on their form, would deserve like maybe 1 or 2 games, maybe non-crucial games type of thing, right?
Give them a shot. Give them a shot.
So, yeah. And the one that I want to mention, Sanele Nohamba.
I had an idea about that. I have an idea about that. Okay.
Shoot.
We run a 5-3 split.
Yeah.
We put Hendricks on the bench, Nahamba on the bench, Andre Pollard on the bench.
Jesus. Okay. 3 fly halves. Let's just kick the ball all over the fucking place, mate.
3 fly halves with 2 of them can both play 10. All 3 of those guys can play 10. 2 of them can play scrum half. 1 of them can play scrum half, center, fullback, wing if he had to, but mostly center and scrum and fly half. And could you just imagine the other team looking at that and being like, what the hell
we're just gonna stay in a half because they're gonna fucking pelt that thing down.
Not even just that, but if say you have somebody like Sasha starting at 10 You put him back to 15. You bring Andre in. You slot him in at 12.
Yeah, 12. I think
you put Nahamba at 10, and you put Hendricks at 9. But both of them can run to the back of the ruck because they're both 9s. It would be
interesting.
And then you have Cheslin Colby feed the scrums.
Just to fuck with him.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Nahamba is another one of those guys. Definitely against maybe a tier 2 side, we give him a shot. Yeah. The problem I do have with Nahamba is he's 5'4". He's really short.
Yeah, that doesn't really matter to me. I mean, if you remember, like for you to get a spot in the Springbok camp, okay, you have to put your body on the line. Okay?
He does.
If you look at some of the guys, like they're small as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of small guys take down big guys, and that's purely based on number 1, heart, and number 2, form. Okay, so if you've got the correct form to be able to take somebody down, like you take them by the legs, right? Come on.
It's Faf de Klerk. We know him for his hair. The rest of the world knows him as a giant slayer. Like he's notorious for it. So you got Nahamba. I did have Nahamba. He was my number 4 guy. So we've got 2 guys. Let's go with another one of your picks.
Henku van Wyk.
Not on my list. List.
He plays very interesting rugby for the Lions, mate. Like, I think he really needs a shot as well. When you want to rest one of your centers or whatever, give him a shot.
I mean, I agree. He just wasn't on my list, but I'm not going to fight you on that one. We'll go to another one of mine on my list. The third guy on my list got a red card last week, but was still allowed to play this week, rightfully so.
Oh, Kriel.
And that would be David Kriel. Just kind of, and I know we're heavy at center. Like, I get it, we're heavy at center, but you can never have too many options. And he's another one of those guys.
In all those positions. So.
Yeah, exactly. He's another one of those guys that I say, give a shot, let him play a tier 2 team or a lower tier 1 team just to see what he can do at an international test level. I'm still not 100% sold on Esterhuizen at 12 at the test level, because we've just not seen enough of them. But Krill is another one of mine. Now, I guess we will go with you and your 4th guy. Who do you got, man?
Well, we actually already brought this guy up a little bit earlier. Okay, he's a Lucy. And he goes by the name of Vincent Tutuka.
Oh, for the Sharks.
That guy has a mean game. Every fucking game that he plays, he's just all over the ball. Like, really. Like,
I don't disagree with you. I don't. What I have to know, I know that him and his brother both went to school in Gauteng, but they're from Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, I think is where they were born. So I'm going to assume they have eligibility, obviously, for the Springboks. But that was one that would have been on my next list down. But I agree. No, he's absolutely great. I mean, especially when he is lined up opposite with somebody like Asia Khaleesi, you have to do a lot to shine over that, and he does just fine, in my opinion. Both him and his brother are both solid guys. My last guy on my list is a guy that I have said multiple times, if he does not get selected, I'm going to riot. Now, rioting here would be a bit different than if I was in the Republic, because here I'd probably end up on like TikToks. Hey, look at this crazy guy in downtown Denton tearing shit up.
Yeah.
If Ruben Van Heerden does not get selected, I am going to be upset, because that guy has done everything that you can ask of him, and he still hasn't gotten. So he's gone into camp, wider training camp. He's just never gotten that first cap. And we need to cap that guy. He works his ass off. His work rate is amazing. It's just, I know that we've discussed this many times. Being a lock for the Springboks, what we as fans expect of you is
our stocks are sure they're a bit slow pickings, I guess, at the moment with all the injuries. But I mean, like, we've got RJ Snyman back, right? He's playing now for Leinster.
Oh, dude, he's playing lights out for Leinster right now.
100%. So he's back. Okay. I mean, the other guys are going to slowly start trickling back as well. So at the end of the day, I mean, I don't honestly know what's happening with old Sos at the moment because I think he plays in Japan, right? And I didn't really watch Japanese rugby.
I'm talking about Ludogger, obviously, right? Or are we talking
No,
about
no.
Franco's still out. He has a broken
Mostert,
leg.
no.
He's still out. He has a broken leg. So, and when you're 6'5", 6'6", it's like being a horse, man. When you break your leg, that's a long fucking process to recover from.
Yeah, I've got an honorary mention, by the way. I've got another person I want to.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it because I don't have one, man.
Wandisile Sebelani.
Why?
You know what? Okay, I've watched him in the past play some rugby, right? Like, he just like at a center, he really runs well, honestly. Okay, and he likes to sidestep a lot, and he's a different type of center. He's almost like a Lucanio arm.
He's a highlight clip. He's a highlight clip center. And I get that. I get that. He's a highlight clip center. I get that. I you know what? Okay, right on. Yes, I agree. Good choice. Not what I expected, but yeah. No, he's definitely a highlight guy.
Look. At the end of the day, like I said, this is just a little bit of fun. Honestly, the only person that I think is a real contender there for taking over a position of any of the Springboks that's currently in the setup, and that is Cameron Hanekom. I don't think any of the others actually can take any spot.
And I think everybody would agree. Everybody would
Cameron Hanekom can maybe still play Jasper Wiese out of his jersey. So, and that's just a fact, unfortunately. But so the other guys, look, they were just a little bit of fun for me to check out and whatnot. So I don't think any of them really stand a chance. Although Henke van Wyk plays some beautiful rugby, man, for the Lions, like for real.
It's amazing to be in a place where it's like, okay, well, we've got so many guys. Let's just start throwing names out there at this point because, like, honestly. We're not really going to have to replace much. Obviously, Vincent Kolk is not making it to the next World Cup. Foth probably isn't making it. Villy is not making it. Trevor Nakane's already kind of gone on his end of the run. I don't think if we see Trevor Nakane dress again, I will be shocked. I don't think he ever dresses again, just because it's not because he's bad. It's just because there's too many people in front of him.
I was honestly annoyed with Vincent Kolk's performance, to be quite frank. I mean, how many scrums did they lose? A couple.
Well, it
was Jenny on his side.
Look at what he's opposite of, though, man. I mean, come on, dude. Like, nobody's gonna be.
I don't give a shit. Give it to Malherbe and he would do it. He would finish it.
We will not have friends at the next World Cup either. He will age out as well. Yeah, but I mean,
Grobler. Let's put Grobler there.
Yeah, Grobler would do it. Yeah, you're right. No, I mean, like. We've had this discussion. I mean, like, we could talk about all the big stars on the Springboks, but, like, to me right now, the biggest guy on that team that's shining not just at the test level, but at the club level is Oxen Shea. Like, that guy delivers every time. I mean, and like, you see it, and you see his work rate, and you just see his ability, and, like, he just...
You know my opinion about Oxen Shea, man.
What?
I'm saying, you know my opinion about Oxen Shea. I think he needs to be voted as one of the top players of the year. Like,
I mean, I found this interview where they were. I don't know if I talked to you about it, but somebody told me an interview where they were talking about the dark arts, and Oxen Shea is there, and he starts like chuckling to himself, and then he says something completely out of it, and I'm like, yeah, you don't have to talk to Oxen Shea about the dark arts of the scrum because that man lives them. Like, he doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't need to talk about it. He is about it. It's like the guys who went to war and saw shit. They don't talk about it because they went through it. Ox doesn't have to talk about the dark arts. He knows them well. Like,
there's not anybody I know in the world at the moment that can out scrum Oxen Shea. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what your fucking dark arts are or whatever, right? The only way that you will be able to get away with beating Oxen Shea, okay, is if the ref don't see you not fucking taking the hit. Okay,
or if you send them to a country where meat consumption is illegal. Because
I'm talking about
salads,
a realistic game though. Because I mean,
salads don't win scrum.
but you know that what happened, right? I mean, scrums that we've lost, like even that Ireland game. I think it was the Ireland game, that second game. Okay, a lot of the scrums that the scrums that we struggled on was the ones where they didn't actually take the hits.
Or they engaged way early. We saw the
Yeah.
video. You can see they were
Yeah.
going over the line to engage.
Yeah.
Ireland was doing everything they could to win that game, and they did. So
Yeah, 100%.
it's
So, but from a scrummaging point of view, nobody, in my opinion, can take on Oxenchair at the moment. He's just, in my opinion, the best fucking
the best
prop in the world.
No question. I agree with you 100%. You got to talk about the Japanese league. Like, we can't even watch that here. The Rugby Network usually does a game of the week online. People north of the equator have a tendency to like shit on that league, but if you look at the talent that's there, like, and it's not just Springboks, it's Aussies, it's Kiwis.
Yeah, no, everybody's getting paid to go play.
Everybody's but I mean, if you got that much talent there, the league can't be that shitty. And I mean, there's already the rumors that that's where Andre Pollard is heading next. He's going to head to Japan, and I got no problem with it. You go over there. Our players, it doesn't really seem to affect their playing style at all. I actually think it makes our players a little bit better because it's a little more of a open playing style, so they need to use their legs to move a little bit more, and I feel like it kind of benefits us. Now, I will say this, as somebody that does follow the All Blacks as well, it seems to do the exact opposite for the All Blacks. When they go to Japan, with the exception of Damian McKenzie, which, look, let's face facts, McKenzie is not a test level elite 10 by any means, but at club level, he's very good. And I feel like it doesn't do the same for them. Like, cause you'll see like when Kieran Reid went there at the end at 2019, he lost like a shitload of weight. Same thing with Brodie Retallick when he went there and came back. He was not the same Brodie Retallick when he got back. Bowden Barrett was not the same when he got back. But I feel like with our players, it doesn't really affect. I mean, Quagga Smith is the captain of his team in Japan.
Yeah.
And it's, rightfully so. He's a hell of a fucking player, but like, it's just
100%.
People shit on the league, and they probably shouldn't because it is a pretty damn decent league. We just don't get a whole lot of ways to watch it. Even I in America can't watch it. So,
I mean, the bottom line is how can we judge that it's a cuck league if we don't know? We can't even watch the game.
Yeah, exactly.
How can we judge them on that? So,
it was kind of just one of those weird little situations there. But so the next thing I kind of wanted to get into was something that did transpire, that has transpired online in recent weeks. And this is regarding my side of the globe in the game, which is obviously we had Antoine Dupont here a couple weeks ago. He goes and visits the LA Chargers. He goes and visits Messi in Argentina, in Miami, the Argentine superstar, the World Cup winner. No mention of rugby whatsoever. None. So Rugby Pass, which the name in itself is Rugby Pass, knowing full well that we have a World Cup coming here in 2031. From my personal experience, matches averaging less than 3,000 in attendance. I've been to professional rugby games here where less than 500 people were there.
Yeah.
So what does Rugby Pass choose to do? They choose to interview a guy on a fucking practice squad in the NFL.
Okay. Fucking weirdos.
Like
this, the point is there's so much of fucking rugby to go around. Okay, there's so many people to speak to. There's so many things. Like, why would you want to go out of your lane? What are they? The fucking interviewers of the Reece Zamets of the world of rugby.
I brought that up, and then I saw it with another site, Ball Carrier Rugby, which is another rugby site, had made a post yesterday saying, oh, that the Northern Hemisphere is going to try doing the referee headsets like they do in the NFL. The NFL didn't invent that.
Yeah.
The Bundesliga in Germany tried it out for 2 years in the late 90s, and then we took it and or the NFL took it and kept using it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is it with rugby sites in the NFL? Like, are they in the pockets? Are they like saying, hey, if you promote us, we'll give you a cut of our subscription services in your country? Because I don't get it. Like, Rugby Pass is supposed to be a rugby website. Why the fuck are you interviewing a guy? And then they're like, the other part that pissed me off about it is that the promo photos for it, they have Luis Rees-Zammit and Travis Kelce in the photo. Luis Rees-Zammit is not on the practice squad at Kansas City. He's in Jacksonville. Okay. Yeah. Why the fuck are you showing a MVP, all team, all pro, all star starter for the Super Bowl champion team next to a guy who got cut from their fucking practice squad? They're not the same thing, guys. Like, quit trying to correlate Luis Rees-Zammit with guys that have made it in the NFL. And they even asked him, oh, what's it like to make it in the NFL? He's on the fucking practice squad. He hasn't made it in the NFL, guys. Like, stop that shit. Like, and it doesn't help to me that when you go on the comment sections of those, like, people just shit on the NFL. Like, they just shit on it. And like, we've discussed this. You watch it too. You watch the NFL.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But like, they just shit on it. Like, it's like this. And like, look, I'm not the biggest American football fan. I'm not. I like collegiate football. Yeah. My college sucks right now. But like, I wouldn't mind if people just didn't use it as an excuse to shit on it. It was like, if this is such a shitty sport, why is he here trying to play it?
Look, man, my opinion is simple, okay? I watch American football like somebody would watch fucking cricket, okay? I don't watch it because it's a replacement for rugby. I watch it because it's a different sport.
It's something different. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion, mate. So I don't watch it because it's a replacement for rugby. I just watch it because I enjoy watching it. That's all. It's a different sport altogether. The type of athletes are completely different. They are trained different. It's different sport, mate.
Speaking of cricket, I just had to check the score. The final, the T20 women's. The final is right now. It's our ladies versus the Kiwi ladies, and we're batting now. They scored 158 when they played in their innings. We have 85 at the same amount. Yeah, we could seriously win the Women's Cricket World Cup today, which would be another awesome achievement for South African sport, regardless of whether you're a cricket fan or not. Like, I'm not the biggest cricket fan. I'm a casual fan at best of that. But I just feel like I said, we're supposed to be promoting the sport here. I told the story last week about how Major League Rugby is begging World Rugby for funding, and we're the wealthiest country on the planet. I don't think we should ever beg World anything for money because we're wealthy. And it doesn't help that when the rugby media worldwide doesn't want to talk about rugby here, they want to talk about backup fucking players or practice team players. It's like, dude, come on, guys. Like, why don't you do a story about the Houston Sabercats and Heineke Meyer and Pote Human and all those guys kind of building a club down there, or Alan Clark up in Seattle, the former Ireland coach? Like, why don't you do stories on that? No, you want to talk about a guy on the fucking practice squad in the NFL. Yeah. Make it make sense.
The bottom line is that little red-faced prick must rather go back to Wales, okay? Because he's a decent fucking rugby player. Let's be quite frank, okay?
We saw him with the British and Irish Lions in 2021. He ain't a bad player, and I actually think, and I've said this, one is that he'll be back in Wales by Christmas, and two, if they fired Warren Gatland, he'd be back tomorrow.
Yeah, and the bottom line is Wales need somebody like him because they got fuck all talent going on.
They're fucking bad. Yeah. It's
so they really need all they can get. So I mean, rather go support your team, support your country, wear that red fucking jersey proudly, You know, why don't you want to go wear another fucking orange and white or whatever fucking jersey that you're never going to actually lawfully wear? Like, as a player, you're going to fucking do it as a practice member. Like, what the fuck? You're wasting your time.
So this week I ordered a new jersey. Ordered two, but
I'm so fucking jealous, mate,
what?
of all your jerseys. I fucking
So
want the Buffalo Bills jersey.
it's still gonna happen, man. I just got to get the shipping and everything. Look, guys, it's not cheap to ship outside anything from the U.S. outside of the U.S. just for bullshit reasons. But I ordered a Six Nations team jersey.
Which one?
I'm not going to announce it here. When it gets here, I'm going to do a video where I put it on. I will go ahead and tell you this, Mr. Fisser, Mr. Pierre.
Yes.
There is one country I can guarantee you it is not, because I would rather wipe my ass with their jersey than ever wear it.
England. It's not England.
Oh, fuck no. I will. It's England. Fuck no. I will never. Now. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. If I had a Johnny Wilkinson autographed English jersey, it would go up in a frame on the wall. I would never fucking wear it. Oh, I'd fucking frame that shit. But like I said, it will never be an England jersey. I have some English followers, and they were like, "Yeah, we know it's not ours." I'm like, "Fuck no, you colonizing sons of bitches! I'm not wearing."
You know, we were opposites on that world's best, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I was Dan Carter all the way. You were Johnny Wilkinson all the way. So
and I've come to find out that that's actually a really big debate, and it's not a nasty debate in the rugby community. I've had people that have been like, "Yeah, I get it. I'm a Wilkinson guy too." And more people are obviously Carter fans, but I would never own and wear. I would own one, but I would never wear it. I would never wear an English jersey. There's just too much. Like it's one of those. It's yeah.
I'd wear a Kiwi jersey.
I have a Kiwi.
If they played England.
I have Kiwi jerseys, and if I do end up going to go see New Zealand and Ireland and Chicago next year, I've already told everybody this. I'm wearing an All Blacks jersey. I'm wearing an SA Rugby hat, because SA Rugby's on top, but I got to back my brothers in the Southern Hemisphere. Now, I will say this: for as much beef as I have with Irish rugby fans, there is one thing that we unite on 100%.
Our hate for the English.
It's the fuck the English sentiment is very, very strong with Irish and South African fans. Like when they were talking about the URC and Premiership wanting to link up, Ireland was like, no, we want the South African teams. Like we want that to be a part. And I mean, like I said, for all the beef we have when we play each other at test time, I will say that like us, like Irish fans and us, we do link up. That neither of us like France and neither of us like England. So it's 100%. Like,
but nobody likes the French.
God, so. I don't even think the French like the French. Like
100%.
I can say that kind of about the Springboks too. It's like, South Africans don't even like the Springboks. I've had some South Africans who are like, "Fuck this!" Like. The Cape Town Crusaders, they're All Blacks fans. They're like, fuck the Springboks. And I'm like, that is so weird to me. I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of them has actually changed their minds now, mate. Remember, we're in an era of like absolute dominance. Okay. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that only support, when you're like doing well, right? Not through the hard times as well. So being as where we at the minute, especially in the last give or take 6 years of rugby, the Springboks have grown in South Africa, mate. Like massively, like more than ever before. Like I think probably out of 100% of South Africans, okay, probably 95% of South Africans own a fucking Springbok jersey.
I actually have the tendency to believe too that so if you like New Zealand for their expansive play, they don't do that anymore. France does that now. And I get it. But I mean, when we think of the Springboks, and a lot of people don't understand this, and I've had to explain to people that the Cape colored culture, they've always felt kind of ostracized and left out. I mean, Cheslin Colby, Damian Falemza, Kurtley Arenza, Kanan Moody, Sasha Feinberg, Grant Williams. You know what I mean? Like Salman Murat, like the colored contingent on the Springboks is very high. Like it's not, you know.
Sorry, when you said Salman Murat, I just wanted to
Yeah, but you get what I'm. The point being is that like Jaden Hendricksa, Jordan Hendricksa, like the colored quotient on the Springboks at this point is extremely high, and
especially in the back line.
Yeah, I kind of wondered about that. I actually had a discussion with an older friend that's from Joburg, but now is in a retirement community in Pretoria. My boy Swanee. And he was like, dude, it's because they're not typically very tall or fat. Because I was like, why don't we have any colored front rows or flankers? And he's like, because they're typically not the biggest guys. That's why. And I'm like, it makes sense. It makes sense. You know, they're not typically 6'5", you know. So, but I mean, like I said, it's like, and I've brought it up on older podcasts. Like, look, if you're a racist, the Springbok should be the last team you support. The very last team you support.
Look, man, it's very diverse in the Springbok team at the
moment. This is the most diverse it's ever been.
Yeah, 100%. And they link in so flipping well, man. Like everybody knows their place, everybody like knows their position, and everybody is really the best at their craft. And if they're not the best, they're surely fucking right up there, and they maybe just bring some other values to the team as well.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that to you know, in that regard, it makes them the best at their position, right? Because they bring a little bit extra or whatever. So, I mean, if you think about somebody like Siya Kolisi, for instance, okay, he brings that something extra. Okay, he brings that motivation, that inspiration, that fucking animalistic fire, what you want to see from your team. Okay, and that's what he awakens in the guys around him. And it already starts off when he walks out the tunnel and when he sings the fucking national anthem. Man, he does it at like full tilt. There's nothing like 50% on that guy. I mean, we saw him play against teams with a fucking broken nose, okay, broken face, okay, and he fucking almost put on a man of the match performance there, okay. And so that being said, and he did it, by the way, without a fucking face mask, okay, in the fucking scrum, okay. Pont, you little pussy. Okay, I'm just saying.
It's and it's funny because I don't even consider Siya Kolisi to be one of the best flankers on the planet. Like he's really 100%. Not. But his leadership ability is what makes him. You have to have him on the squad strictly for the fact that you know that like he's going to make everyone around him try that much harder. Like it's that. I mean,
but this is what I'm saying. He brings that extra. So he might not be the best flanker in South Africa either. Okay, but guess what? Okay, everybody around him fucking plays better when he's there. Okay. Everybody. I've watched games where he's not there, and I've watched games when he's there, and the difference is noticeable. Okay, 100% noticeable. You can see it. Okay, so guys like him, I mean, fuck. Like I think there's like everybody in that team is specifically selected
for a reason.
To be part of something. Okay, and everybody knows what that something is. Okay. They all know what that something is, and they all know it's that jersey, okay? They're there for that jersey and for the people of South Africa, okay? Because, like I said to you the last time, right? Like, I'm getting sort of tired of the fact that they play for the people, okay? I understand they play for the people, but I want them to go out there and prove it to themselves a little bit, right? They don't need to do it for us sometimes, you know? Sometimes they can just do it for themselves because they fucking worked hard. They fucking practiced their asses off. They were fucking every day. They have to be like those guys that don't just go and fuck around with food, and like they have to live a very specific lifestyle, okay, to upkeep that specific like thing, you know, that driving force, that motivation, keep like what they keep there. So, you know, it's great that they play for us. Look, I mean, if that's their driving force and their motivation, that's great. Okay, but I sometimes just want them to feel proud in just themselves as well. For like doing a job well done, because everybody else is proud of the boys.
Yeah.
Okay, and the way they play. And sure, we might hit out at them when they lose a game or whatever, and we get very agitated and frustrated and stuff like that. But I mean, as a general rule, where they were and versus where they are today, I mean, they've got the last 25 games, what, like 24 wins? Okay, 23 wins around there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, that's a very good fucking record for the last, like, let's say 2 years. So really, they're moving in the right direction, in the right dimensions, with the right people. I think Rassi's obviously got a plan, and he involves his players in that plan. And but yeah, for sure, I would like for them just to go out there and just do it for themselves once as well. Just you know, put all that aside. Just like fucking go do your best for you. Just to be proud of yourself, man. Fuck, today I did my best job ever. Okay, I
Yeah.
could do.
It's I agree with that a lot. Like we kind of like we look at them as like kind of ambassadors for goodwill and things like that, but like sometimes you just want them to go out there and just be good professional athletes. And I think they do, but it's almost like because they're South African, they feel like they have to like put these like weights on their legs to keep themselves to a certain, and I think that's why when we think of superstars, we don't bring up, like, we'll bring up Springboks, but in the worldwide global context of it, we don't really think of them that way because, well, they're Springboks, so they have to keep their feet on the fucking ground. And it's like, I mean, we saw it yesterday with Valemza doing the little to the other team, like doing the little hush to them, and it's like you like that about Valemza because it's like he's got that swagger and that attitude and that personality that like, I'm gonna silence you motherfuckers right now. And he did. He told them, silence, like we won, silence, be quiet, and it's like you like that about him because it's like, full well if that were you or me, I wouldn't even be doing that. I'd be giving him like the middle finger. Like I would be an
100%.
asshole about it. Like I would be a cocky son of a bitch if I did that, like
I
it
mean,
would be...
the Sharks faced the current champions, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And there was a scuffle there. I don't know if you saw the scuffle.
So I don't know if you see, there's people saying that Eben was going for some guy's eyes, man, and they're like, that's eye gouging. He should be banned for that. And
Shut the fuck up, man.
And I'm like, have you seen the man's hands? They could palm most dudes' faces.
No, look, I mean, for me, I don't really think he was going for eye gouging, but the simple fact is that I want them. I've told you this before, right? So this is just my fucking opinion, right? So I want them to go absolutely out there and demolish everything that other team stands for, to make them second guess why they ever stepped out on that fucking field with our players. Okay, that's what I want them to do. Okay, and they are for sure able to do that to many teams. Okay, just based on, we know South African rugby is based around fucking physicality galore. Okay, like utmost physicality. Okay, Rassi's famous comment: "Go out there and fuck them up." Okay, so the fact is this is what I want to do, and so that's what I'm saying. I mean, these guys put themselves in a position where they're ambassadors for the South African people, right? So they have to uphold a specific standard. Okay. And with that comes respect. And I feel a lot of the times we give too much respect to another jersey, i.e., the New Zealand jersey. Okay, we should have, we could have gone for the jugular in both those games. Like we were absolutely the better team on the field. Okay. And sure, a lot of people are discussing that try about Bongi Banambi, but to be honest, it's one in the history books, is one and done. So there's nothing you can do about it now. The fact is, it's a win, and the second game that we played is also a more emphatic win. So, but I mean, look at how we played against them the game just before the World Cup. Okay, we should be doing that to teams all the time. Okay. and I feel like we're giving a lot of respect to other teams when the respect needs to be earned on the field,
I
not
feel like
before you run out.
but they don't, and I feel like with certain teams, like I don't think it's the All Blacks or the Pumas. I think the respect is very mutual between those teams. But like when you're playing like in Ireland or in England or France, understand that those people have no respect for you at all. Like,
look, it's
it,
not even for me about that, bud. It's not for me about that. For me, it's about that team is not the same team you faced a year ago.
No, not even close.
Okay,
not even close.
That team is not the same team you faced 6 months ago, possibly. Okay, so the fact is, every time they're running out on that field, that respect needs to be earned once again. Okay,
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it's all about, like, if you are up for it that day, okay, the opposite team, if they're really up for it, okay, fine, they've won your respect, okay. But if they're not up for it, you do not need to respect them on the field, okay. I'm not saying go fucking croc rolling everybody all over the place and fucking high tackling and like clotheslining shit people and shit like that. I'm saying you do not need to respect them. You can respect them as people, but when you're out there on the field, that's the people between you and your family, right? You and the people you play for. Okay. That's the person in the way. How are you going to get around them? You're going to go through them. Okay. That's what you're going to do. Because that is the Springbok philosophy, isn't it? Okay. Physicality, physicality, physicality. Fucking run through those motherfuckers. Okay. And then you give it to your winger so he can run around. Okay. After your forwards have sucked in all the fucking defense.
I'm actually going to look up something real quick here because I want to see what our end of year schedule is, so we at least have an idea of when we possibly will get, because I'm pretty sure a training camp will be Sunday, November 10th. So we're less than 20 days. We're going to have a training camp probably announced this week, a wider training squad. So I think next week we'll definitely have that to talk about. I don't know about eligibility. I don't think our Japanese players are going to be available, which doesn't really scare me at all because
it's a pity for Quagga, though.
It's a pity for Quagga. I mean, obviously not having Peter Steph to toy, but I'm kind of okay with Ben Jason Dixon getting some playing time, especially against Northern Hemisphere teams, because he needs that experience. But
I'd play him more against Wales, though.
What's up?
I'd rather play him against Wales, though.
What, Peter Steph to toy?
No, Ben Jason.
Yeah, I mean, because he's going to have a field day against them. That's not, and it's funny, for as bad as Wales is, I've mentioned this before. They're kind of one of those Northern Hemisphere teams that I've always had. Like, I do respect Wales because when they were on top and they were doing good, they played just like us. They played, you had Alan Wynne Jones as a lock, who's just this aggressive thorn in everybody's side.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not that anymore. They're far removed from, Dan Bigger days and all that kind of thing. But it's we'll kind of have to see how it goes.
Man, I fucking hated Dan Bigger.
Who do you hate? Who do you hate more, Dan Bigger, Owen Farrell, or Johnny Sexton?
Owen Farrell. Fuck that guy.
Why is this like, dude? That's probably, to me, he's public enemy number one when it comes to rugby. And I've had this debate with people many times, and I'm like, why do we fucking hate that guy so much?
I think because he's an arrogant prick, mate. Like, he is that, okay? And fair enough. I mean, I just came off a whole spree where I'm like, we need to be like more for ourselves and stuff like that. I just said that like a couple of minutes ago. So he's basically living that thing that I fucking said we need to become. But like he's on the other team, so I fucking hate him for that. So, so what must I do?
I've had people try to argue with me about like, I don't hate Marcus Smith. I
No,
don't
I
hate
don't.
Marcus Smith. I don't
Mm-mm.
hate Joe Marler. I mean, I hate Joe Marler for reasons outside of rugby because I just think
Yeah,
he's a dick smoker, but that's just me. Um, I don't hate Courtney Laws. I hate Owen Farrell. I hate
yeah,
Owen Farrell.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can
I
see.
think I think Johnny Sexton is a bit of a bitch, but that's
Yeah,
just
he is a bit of a fucking wine
he's a
baby, right?
whiny baby a bit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't. But
But
yeah,
I
I think
put him and Dan Bigger like on the same field. Like,
actually
like in terms of that scenario, I think Dan Bigger is also a bit of a
to
whining
to
bitch.
to me, it's like Owen Farrell and Quade Cooper are like on the same level to me. Like I don't like or respect either one of them.
Yeah,
Although I found it kind of
yeah,
funny when Sia was playing at Wrestling 92, him and apparently Farrell were really, really close friends. Like they got along really well. And I'm pretty sure that personally, Owen Farrell probably isn't a bad guy, but I don't know him personally. And until that moment, that guy's a
I
piece of shit. He's a
I don't
bitch.
give a shit who gets along with him, mate. I
Yeah.
still don't fucking like him, so I will never like him. He can give me $1 million, I will still not fucking like him. The bottom line is, it's just something about him. I can't fucking stand him. It's just how it
Yeah.
is. And
It's
same with
just
Nick White. Like Nick White, I want to fucking headbutt that guy if I ever had to meet him. So
so that
that's just me.
they finally flushed the toilet, and the turd known as Nick White apparently is
Yeah,
heading to Europe. And it's like, good. He's a turd. That's where you
yeah,
flush turds down the toilet and they go elsewhere. Um,
yeah.
I have the hate that I have towards Owen Farrell is different than the hate I have towards Nick White. Owen Farrell, I just think is a douchebag and like stuck up and a little rich boy,
Mm,
whatever. Nick White
mm,
is just a piece of shit. Like Nick White is he's just a piece of shit. Like Nick White is the guy. Like if I saw Owen Farrell at the Bry, I would just stay away from him. If I saw
yeah.
Nick White at the Bry, I would like go and like embarrass him and make him leave. Like it would be like I'm gonna let Owen Farrell stay on the other side of the yard at the Bry. If I saw
Nah, fuck Owen
Nick
Farrell
White
too.
wouldn't be allowed to stay. Nick White would have to leave. Like I don't,
Yeah, but Nick
I
White would leave because I'm gonna headbutt his fucking ass out of there.
exactly,
Okay, that's why
exactly.
he's gonna
I
leave.
would physically assault Nick White. I don't know if I would necessarily. I'll tell you what I would do. I would assault Nick White. Owen Farrell, I would just like float a rumor to make and then he would leave out of embarrassment. Like it would just be like, I wouldn't physically
Yeah.
confront Owen Farrell. I would
No, look,
physically confront Nick White.
no, look. I mean, I'm not fucking nervous about fucking Farrell at all. Okay, so, um, but yeah, for me, I don't like Owen Farrell. There's something about his face. Like when you meet people in life and you just don't like them. Like it's nothing you can do about it. They didn't do anything to you. They didn't like offend you or anything. It's
You
just
just
there's
don't like
something
him. You
about
just
them.
don't like
You
him.
you just don't like the shape of their face or the fuck away they cut their hair or I don't know what it is, but there's just that one thing that you just can't fucking stand. And Owen Farrell is everything that I can't stand. Okay. So it's just there's nothing like I've got nothing physically against the guy. Like, sure, I think he's a bit of a prick and he plays like a pussy, and he really needs to be constantly on fucking tackle school or whatever you call that
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
school that they go to, because he has shit form. Okay, so I mean, for that, but that doesn't make me not like him. Okay, the way I don't like him. Okay, that just makes me think he's a bit of a fucking shitty, like tackler and
Yeah.
that type of thing. But there's something like what when you tell me about Owen Farrell, what image I get? I get that image where like the guys from New Zealand was like squaring up with the haka, and he had that fucking face, that grin on his face.
That
Yeah,
smug look
that's
on his
smug.
face.
I always imagine that look, and then I'm just like, well, fuck that guy. Like he's a prick. So
Like
it's just I don't know.
it's you did you ever see the movie The Big Lebowski with Jeff Bridges?
Fuck long ago, but yes, I did.
Okay, there's a scene where he gets arrested by this Ventura cop, and the cop's like, I don't like your jerk off face. I don't like your jerk off style, and I don't like you, jerk off. And I'm like, that's how I feel about Owen Farrell. Like, I don't like your face. I don't like the way you play. I don't like you as a person. Period. Like, it's just, and it's funny because I had to think back. I remember watching his dad play, and his dad wasn't nearly as shitty as the son, but look, sometimes the apple falls very, very, very far from the tree, and I think that in that case, that is, I still look. You could put an aluminium foil hat on my head right now. I still think Farrell's going to end up trying to play for Ireland.
Well, his dad is there, so it kind of makes sense.
He's not playing for England anymore. He's in France. People have said, no way, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. I don't know, man, because he seems like the kind of guy that, like, he seems like the kind of kid that when he was in school, do you know who my father is? Like, he seems like that kind of guy.
But who would you replace in the Irish team? Like, I think all the people they've got currently in positions is better than him.
Whatever daddy wants him to play.
Yeah, but that would just, like, tarnish your fucking, like, the rest of your team, mate. Like, honestly, I think everybody they've got in that Irish squad is already better than Owen Farrell. I honestly do believe that.
And that's sad to say that. That is sad to say that. Like, and like, look, once again, Ireland, I respect you. You're good. You're not there yet, despite what you think. But I actually like Irish. I like the way they play. Like, I don't think they're a shit team. I just think at internet when it counts, they need to show up because they don't.
I was gonna say, okay, maybe put him at 9, but I mean Gibson Park is like a million times better than him. So I was like, nah. I know he's a big boy and you play him on center or fucking fly off or whatever. But I mean, like, I don't know where I would put him. Like on that, like even your Fricky Low is so better than like everybody on that team is better than Owen. In my opinion.
Is the most overrated guy on that entire team, in my opinion, is James Lowe. That guy, he really is so one-dimensional, and you saw it when you see it when his club team plays South Africa. It's the same thing with like people are like, "Oh, would Duhan van der Merwe make the Springboks?" No, and they're like, "How do you know that?" I'm like, because look at how he plays against South African teams. That tells you he's not good enough to be a Springbok. Like, I don't think like people. It gets brought up a lot. South Africans that play for other countries, do I hold anything against them? No, because they weren't good enough to be Springboks, like ever. You know, I mean, CJ Stander, who played for Ireland, was he good enough to be a Springbok? I think at points he was good enough, but honestly, overall, no, he wasn't. He wasn't. Yeah. And then when he took out Pat Lambie, that completely ended any prospect, in my opinion, of being a Springbok ever. But like, that is something I do get in an argument with Irish fans all the time, is they believe that Aki and Gibson Park would be All Blacks. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. I think now maybe Gibson Park would, but not really. Like, I don't think like I said, I don't think Pierre Stuhlman would be a Springbok. I don't think Vip Pinel would be a Springbok. I don't.
You would never. Neither one of them would play for the Springboks.
No, I don't think Duhan van der Merwe would. I don't think Kyle Stan would. I don't think any of those guys. The guy that plays for France, no. Like, it's not. It's the Labuschagne who plays for Japan. No, none of those guys are good enough to be Springboks. That's why they play for other countries. Like, and I don't have anything against them. I don't think they're traitors. I don't hate on them for that shit. Like, hey, no, you weren't good enough. You went where you could play. That's fine. I'm not going to shit on you for it. Like, I don't have this complex about it. Like, I don't have a complex.
Look, I mean, we've got plenty to spare. We've got plenty to go around. So, I mean, if we have to share some of that with the world, we will. The fact is that there's only so many people that can play in the team. And, everybody else is going to go by the wayside. So rather let them go play overseas. Okay. If they are better in that position than anybody in that motherfucking country, so be it, mate. Let them play. I mean, that's what it is.
I find it also the idea that if the Cheetahs do, in fact, go play in Super Rugby, is the world going to finally admit it? That, like, yeah, we save your ass. save your ass. The URC wouldn't be the URC without the South African teams. It simply would not be that way.
Yeah,
And
look, I mean, I don't think it would change the competition per se that much, but it would for sure change the competitiveness of the Northern Hemisphere.
yeah, because I think that's the rise of the Northern Hemisphere, is because they get to play Southern Hemisphere club teams all the time now. Like, they get to see what you have to make it to the top. And do I think they're going to get there? No. I mean, I know we're 3 years out, but I still don't think Ireland makes it past a quarterfinal. I just don't ever see it happening. I think that
to be quite frank, I would like for them to do it though. Okay.
So they'll shut the fuck up about it?
No, I don't think it's about that for me. I would like for them to do it purely based on form outside World Cup. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, I think they play such a good game outside World Cups. Okay. For the last couple of years, in fact, being number one, number two, number one, number two, like splitting the difference between us and New Zealand and some other teams on occasion. But I think they deserve to go past the quarterfinal. Okay. I don't think they deserve to go past the Springboks to the quarterfinal.
Some lines you just won't cross. Some lines you just don't cross.
100%. Not a fuck. Okay, so I don't think anybody deserves it more than what we do at the moment, right? Because, I mean, just with everything that we've had to play with and like where we came from and where we're going and like just the type of dominance that we're showing in our game at the moment, like on all facets of the game with like new expansive game style, while still having a very good, impactful forwards playability. So, at the end of the day, I think they do deserve maybe a semi-final at least. I wouldn't care meeting them in the final, to be quite frank. I think we just know how to play finals.
Of course,
we've got
we've been to so many of them.
We've won every one that
we've never lost one. We've never lost one. So, but
yeah.
But so that'll be it for this week, folks. I mean, what can I say? It's been another exciting weekend with this. We'll be back at the same time next week, hopefully with some Springbok squad announcements to talk about. Thank you for joining me, as always, Pierre. How's the weather over there in Gauteng, man?
It's fuck hot, but it was raining earlier, so yeah. It's not it's not fucking Texas hot, but it was like it's a bit hot for me. Like, so I get hot easily. So
it's supposed to be autumn here, and we've still been hitting like 30 almost every day. We had a little bit of a cold streak earlier this week, but it's been 30 like every day. And I'm once again asking any European country if they would like to trade weather. Please. I'm sick of these hot temperatures. My utility bill, my electric bill is sick of this weather. So, so we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for coming out. I have noticed that while we don't get a lot of viewers during the live, during the week, people watch it. And I do appreciate that, guys. So we will talk to all of you again. Yeah. Thank you very much.
We appreciate you
guys. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.